Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Noah Unleashed. If you're new here, hi, I'm Melball. I like watching Japanese wrestling, and this is Noah Unleashed, a weekly news and review show where I talk about my favorite wrestling promotion, Pro Wrestling Noah. If you're not new here, welcome back to the glorious chaos that is your Melball. It's been a not so chaotic month so far with November, but we did get snow, and that is its own chaos for Melball because she is not a good winter driver, and the gym is distance. But we are doing what we can with this cold weather. We're trying to keep warm. It's nice and cozy in here right now. I'm pretty comfy in a short sleeve shirt, but we're not here to talk about the weather or how I'm feeling. We're here to talk about some amazing professional wrestling. We have two shows to talk about on this episode. I'm going to do as much as I can to talk like this. Sorry, it's going to be fast. Trying to get through two Sunny Voyages shows. Sunny Voyage shows. One happening on November 15th, the other happening on November 16th. But before we get into those shows, I need you guys to like the video, subscribe to OLE, and turn on notifications to be alerted every time we drop a new video. So, without further ado, you guys, we are going to get into the Sunny Voyage show from November 15th. Now, this show did feature a couple matches that are importante because we had the GHC Tag Team Championship Contenders matches as well as second round Grand Prix matches for the Noah Grand Prix. So, we're going to start off here with match number one, which was a tag team match that was between Shuji Kondo and Tadasuke taking on the team of Kai Fujimura and AMAKUSA. Now, this is essentially the next round of second round guys that are going to be facing each other. We got Kondo facing Fujimura and Tadasuke facing AMAKUSA, but for now, they're in tag team action. We start off, Tadasuke grabs the chair and just sits in the corner. Not even in the ring, like on the outside. He's not on the apron. He's not really there to kind of help Kondo. Kondo's kind of like, yo, worth a fork. And he's like, no, don't worry. I'm here. I trust that. Kondo and Fujimura keeping the pace very slow, doing a lot of chain wrestling, arm drags, with Fujimura eventually hitting a tilt-a-whirl arm drag, sending Kondo flying. AMAKUSA popping up into a Rana, and then following up with a jumping knee to block an incoming lariat attempt from Kondo. AMAKUSA tosses Kondo to the outside, and Tadasuke then grabs the foot of AMAKUSA and drags AMAKUSA out, where he tosses him into the crowd before back into the ring, and then asking to be tagged in by Shuji Kondo. So Tadasuke ducking the springboard attempt from AMAKUSA and then hitting an atomic drop, driving the face to the knee as well. So like just boom, kneeling, face knee, and then faking a strike. And when AMAKUSA ducks, hitting a DDT, very Shingo Takagi, very sneaky. I like it. So we hear some Tadasuke cheers start kind of echoing in the crowd, which, that happens from time to time. Tadasuke's got some fans. But then AMAKUSA fans start drowning them out pretty quickly, which gains the ire of Tadasuke as he starts mocking AMAKUSA, putting his hands in his pockets, and Tadasuke, or not Tadasuke, AMAKUSA. It was hilarious. It was so belittling and condescending and infuriating. Absolutely perfect. So, we got a back waist lock by AMAKUSA on Kondo, and while he pushes him into the ropes, AMAKUSA quickly drops down into that tabletop, tripping Kondo backwards, and then AMAKUSA scoots out to the apron and then hops back over to do, where was it? Springboard Rana. So there's a Rana and a dropkick by Fujimura onto Kondo. Kondo with that standing hair yeet toss to Fujimura. Looks like it hurts. Amaska and Fujimura with stereo planchas to Kondo and Tadasuke on the outside. There's a running knee by Fujimura to the back of the head in the corner to Tadasuke, but Tadasuke is able to kind of wiggle out and follow up with a ball shot to Fujimura and then knocks the ropes when Amaska tries to hit the springboard to help. So the finish here, guys, comes with Fujimura getting Tadasuke into that back waist lock again, and then Kondo comes in to lariat Fujimura, but Fujimura tries to reverse it, and they start doing this little fun reversal kind of thingy around until Tadasuke thinks that he has Fujimura caught. He does not. Fujimura ducks it. Tadasuke eats the lariat and then an arm drag. And then Fujimura folds up Tadasuke into his arm trapped cradle for the big win here. This was a really fun opener. Really, really good kind of setup for the next couple of matches that these guys are going to be having with each other on the 16th, what we will talk about later in the show here. Post-match, as Fujimura and Amaska are celebrating, Tadasuke does come in, hits Amaska with the chair, and then starts hitting his knee. Fujimura just like, oh my god, what's happening? Gosh, that shouldn't be happening. Yo, you could have done something, my dude. Next time we see you, you're running off like, oh my god, what was that? What was that? What was that? I see that. I see how the face rules are in this company. So from here, we're going to go to match number 2, which was an 8-man tag team match that featured the team of KENTA, Ulka Sasaki, Tetsuya Endo, and Junta Miyawaki, taking on the team of Daga, Daiki, I almost said Inaba, Daiki Odashima, and Hajime Ohara, and Alejandro. I was excited because I thought I was going to see Tsushi Katoge. He's later in the show. So, from here, starting off, we got Daga and Ohara first cheering on KENTA with the shirt, which I love. I love seeing. And then being like, okay, we got stuff to do, my guy. Let's go. Found that amusing. I love the just God bless face Daga. He is so funny, but the funny thing about it is that I feel like heel Daga would be pretty much doing the exact same thing, just in a different way. It's like he hasn't really changed, but he has. It's very fun. So anyway, technical start between Ohara and Sasaki, which was just brilliant. I love seeing these two guys start off. Lots of reversals, uniquely intertwined with slams and suplexes, as these guys are so good at just sneaking those moves in there. Alejandro and Miyawaki showing off their aerial skill, with Alejandro going for a plancha, but Miyawaki actually moves and then hits his second rope plancha. Daga and Odashima with a double team on Miyawaki in the corner, hitting synchronized back elbows, and then Odashima drops into that tabletop for Daga to go and hit a back elbow, and then he yeets Daga over his head into a drop kick, which was just so good. Love the tag team camaraderie between these two. KENTA in and taking everybody out, including Daga, with a twisting neck breakout. There was a big old suplex spot where everyone in to grab everyone. And why is it always Miyawaki who's the last one in, trying to figure out where he's supposed to be going? It's always him. He missed the group message. However, he finally gets into where he's supposed to get to, and he won the suplex for his team. Odashima with his new signature backflip into the dropkick backflip on Tetsuya Endo. Just flippy guy. Love that. The power backbreaker by Endo on Odashima, stopping his momentum though. Everyone in popping off their stuff. Miyawaki drop kicking Alejandro. Ohara with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker on Miyawaki. Sasaki hitting Ohara with a shining wizard before attempting a cutter on Daga, who blocks it and then hits a step-up enziguri, but then eats a high kick from KENTA. Just glorious, glorious chaos. So the finish comes. Odashima trying a bunch of pins on Endo, but Endo not staying down, transitioning Odashima into a sit-out gory bomb, but dropping Odashima fully on his left ankle. Ouchies. But following up with that shooting star press for the win. Go Team Melball. Post-match, Endo taking some time getting up to his feet after Odashima did land on that foot, but just a spoiler, the next night looked pretty fine. He didn't really seem to be too bothered by it at all, really. So good job, Endo. Good recovery. This was really, really fun match. I had a lot of fun I always have fun with Odashima and Daga. I love these two guys as the tag team champions, junior tag team champions, because they're doing so good. They're so entertaining and they're so good together. They're coming up with some very fun, unique stylings. But then seeing Team Melball, I love seeing the combination of Endo and Sasaki. And then when you kind of throw in Hayata into that, it's just a chef's kiss. It's so good. It's a perfect combination of a wide variety of styles that just almost complement each other. So from here, we're going to go into match number 3, which is a 6-6. The sun is gone, okay? It doesn't matter that it's 4:30. I'm north. It's gone. Words are gone. Match number 3, 6-man tag team match. Hank Walker, Tank Ledger, and Yuto Kikuchi taking on Manabu Soya, Saxon Huxley, and Atsushi Kitoge. This match was fracking phenomenal, but it also simultaneously broke my little black heart. Let's talk about it. Looking at the participants, Kikuchi. I love seeing Kikuchi. Hate not seeing him with Passion Rattels. So, okay, Huxley turning into a furry, slowly but surely. He had these wrist guards on that were like yellow fuzz, and now he's kind of got more like fuzz on the shins. Is this a Jonitsu thing? Is that is that what happens when you join the ranks of Passion Rattel and Manabu Soya? You get the fur. I might have to second guess my shirt. So Soya and Huxley also rocking Daiki Inaba's little headband as he's coming in, and Manabu Soya cosplaying as Yohei. I'm fairly certain he's wearing Yohei's actual little pull-up arm sleeve thing, because that thing is busting at the seams. He's got the little armband too. He got the blue tongue. He was doing the intro. It makes me so happy to see. I love seeing the love. Okay. One real quick point. Kikuchi seems to have bonded with Hank and Tank more quickly than he has ever seemed to fit in with Passion Rattels. And this is where my heart started to break, because they were so happy to be teaming together. And like, I feel like Hank and Tank, that's kind of their general thing. They're just really excited. And it got Kikuchi also excited, and that made me sad because I never saw that happen with him in the Passion Rattels, and this is me accepting that he probably shouldn't be in Passion Rattels. Okay, so power struggle with Ledger and Soya, which was hilarious and then awesome. Ledger, bless him and his vocals. When there's no commentary on these shows, we need just Ledger at ringside. We for English commentary anyway, because it's just a treat. So where am I? Walker and Huxley colliding back and forth before Walker catches the foot of Huxley, does his little truffle shuffle, and then scoop slams Huxley before he tries to do that truffle shuffle body splash, but Huxley moves. And when I say truffle shuffle, it's not what they actually call it. I'm sure they call it something else. I'm just trying to put in your mind's eye what it reminds me of. And if you know the Goonies, you know the truffle shuffle, you know that this is hilariously adorable. So, Kikuchi coming in, hitting a head scissors on Kotoge. There was a passion shake on Kikuchi by a willing Huxley and a very unwilling Kotoge, who I think was more puppeteered and given shaken Kotoge syndrome more than Kikuchi. And then the passion captain picks up Kotoge and dumps him on Kikuchi, which they get a 2 count out of. So Kikuchi and Soya striking out their differences and indeed breaking my heart further. Drop kick to the knee of Huxley, followed by a thrust kick by Kikuchi. He's so quick. And it really shows how much he's kind of come into his own since leaving the Passion Retells. I used to always say he has so much power and he doesn't quite know how to use it. Whatever he's been doing, he figured out how to use it. He hasn't been overshooting his stuff or over rotating. It's been perfectly on the money. If Kikuchi is not the next person signed to Pro Wrestling Noah permanently, I don't know what y'all are thinking. Hank and Tank with the double team on Huxley, flipping him into a body slam and then stacking up and doing that double body splash. Love that. Felt that was a Canadian move. Big body press by Kotoge on Walker, but Kikuchi hits a double stomp on the back to break up the pin. A Kotoge with a big boot to Walker, but Walker hits a spinning side slam on the follow-up. But the finish comes, you guys, with Kikuchi hitting a tope con hilo on the Passion Retells, and then Hank and Tank hitting the collision course on Kotoge for the win. And if that isn't a more dominant, like, shutting the book, slamming the cover shut on something, I don't know what is. Again, Kikuchi working so effortlessly and much better with Hank and Tank than he ever did with Manabu Soya or Huxley or Yohei or Hayata. The only person he really seemed to really mess with in the Passion Retells was Tadasuke, and Tadasuke, well, we know what happened there. Tadasuke. Well, he tatsued, kind of, but this match was phenomenal. And I had been saying, like, sometimes when you come into Japan, it takes you about 2 or 3 matches to kind of really find your ground and hit your stride. Hank and Tank, welcome. You guys hit this stride. This was so good. This match was perfect. They had everything that they needed. They had the moves, they had the noise, they knew how to sell. The timing was perfect. They worked so well with their teammate in Kikuchi and with the Passion Retells and Kotoge, all guys who are very, very hard to not work well with, but still, it was utterly perfect. I'm so happy to see this. So, from here, we're going to move on to match number 4, which was a tag team match that featured Yoshiki Inamura and Jack Morris taking on the team of Kaito Kiyomiya and Harutoki. So this was a slow-paced match to kind of start. Lots of reversals before Inamura catches Kiyomiya in a crossbody attempt and then plants him with a power slam before dropping an elbow on him. Afterwards, Inamura chopping Kiyomiya and Morris mimicking the chest pop on the corner, just E. It was funny. I found that very amusing. Morris getting the foot up for an incoming Harutoki and then hopping up and hitting a second rope dropkick. There is a huge frog splash, sublime every time, from Jack Morris, followed by a Falcon Arrow for 2 on Kiyomiya. Harutoki with his signature flip over lariat in the corner, and then a big crossbody for 2 on Morris. So the finish for this guy comes with a good-looking knee by Morris, for 2, followed by the Tiger Driver for the win. This was such a fun match. This is a very fun match. It wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't anything over the top. It was just the perfect way to show off all 4 of these guys. The only complaint that I would have is that there were certain points where I don't know if maybe Inamura was a little freaked out or something, but on Harutoki especially, he almost seemed to be pulling his stuff at certain times. And I'll mention this a little bit later in the show because it does come up again later, but like, it's something I need to address, I think, a little bit later in the other match, so I don't ramble and this thing doesn't end up being like 2 hours long. So from here, we're going to go match number 5. This is the GHC Tag Team Championship #1 Contenders match, and this match is happening between Team 2000X, Masaki Kitamiya, Takashi Sugiura, with, of course, Yoshitatsu taking on the team of Keno and Naomichi Marufuji. So we're just going to get right into it. Kitamiya attacking Mensure at ringside because why not? Again, the perpetual look of disgust on the chairman's face. Very relatable. Strikes to start and a dastardly laugh from Kitamiya, but Keno answers with a high kick and a laugh of his own that sounded more like Santa Claus than a villain. Might want to work on being evil there, Keno. Chops between Marufuji and Sugiura, and then Tatsu, being Tatsu. And he pulls out the leg of Marufuji, pulling him to the outside. So now on the outside, Sugiura continues to beat up Marufuji, and Kitamiya keeps beating on Keno. They get a little too close to Hank and Tank, who are at ringside observing, which I thought was funny because I didn't know. There were certain points where I didn't know they were there because Ledger was quiet. Ledger, why are you quiet? Don't be quiet. Don't be quiet. Please always let me know that you're there. Where are we? Hank and Tank. Right, okay. Double team attempt by the team who get Tatsu on the apron, but Keno moves and Kitamiya ends up hitting Tatsu instead and is then hit by Sugiura. Keno then feeds some high kicks to Sugiura, but Kitamiya ducks the first one, but not the second. Keno then sends Tatsu into the corner post, which, good riddance. Where are we? Okay, Marufuji with his signature flurry of kicks, sending Kitamiya into the post, but he just laughs it off and then tries to come out of the corner only to get a DDT from Marufuji, but he explodes back up and hits a sliding lariat. So Marufuji going for the Shinui, but Sugiura catches him in the corner and hangs him in the Tree of Woe, and then lands a running knee to the gut before these two launch into another chop battle. Marufuji and Keno hitting the lariat double stomp on Sugiura, but Sugiura ducks the sandwich PK kicks, causing Marufuji and Keno to actually kick each other. There's an avalanche brainbuster from Sugiura on Keno, followed by the flipping senton from Kitamiya for 2. There's the hook kick into the German suplex by Marufuji and Keno onto Sugiura, followed by those sandwich kicks for 2. Marufuji and Keno setting up that neck twist double stomp that they do, but Tatsu, what's he be doing? He Tatsuing, pushes Keno off of the ropes into Marufuji, who then eats a lariat from Kitamiya, who then proceeds to argue with the ref, because that's what the team does. So Keno runs at Kitamiya, but he moves the ref in the way, and Keno squishes the ref, which then out emerges a wild Tadasuke, who I didn't know was at ringside, and the team start running the train on Keno in the corner. From here, the finish came pretty quickly. From here, the finish came pretty quickly, with Sugiura taking the chair and hitting Keno with it, and then following up with an Olympic slam, pinning Keno and gaining the opportunity at Hank and Tank. This was a really fun match. Just a very interesting roundabout way to get Masaki Kitamiya and Sugiura back in the ring with Hank Tank, which I'm not arguing with because that was a great match. It's a great match. Post-match, they also take out Marufuji before Kitamiya gets on the mic and starts yippity-yapping at Hank and Tank. The tag division is starting to pick up again, which I appreciate because it's kind of been a little... that titles have really been a hot potato championships, and we haven't seen teams or stables lasting very long passion retells. So, like, it's nice to see that we're starting to get, #1 contenders matches for these kind of things. So I'm excited to see the match. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it is happening the same night as the Grand Prix finals, which is going to be tomorrow, the 21st. So tonight, 2 a.m., 2:30 a.m., I think here. She's going to be up for that, which is why she's going to finish this. Okay, focus. So, I will leave the match card here if I am correct about that. I think I am. If I'm not, I'll leave the right one here. Magic. Anyway, match number 6 is the Grand Prix second round match that features Hiromu Takahashi taking on Ninja Mac. So, the crowd's super excited for this match. Super excited because you got a crowd favorite in Hiromu Takahashi and you got another crowd favorite in Ninja Mac. So, we got to start off with sportsmanship. Ninja Mac offering the handshake, Hiromu Takahashi accepting the handshake. Friendship! We love friendship. Takahashi hits a shoulder tackle on Mac, but Mac actually kips back up and throws a high kick, which why did I say Tadasuke? Takahashi ducks. They continue on with Takahashi hitting the ropes and a Rana, but Mac flipping through and effortlessly landing on his feet. I swear this man is part cat. Takahashi asking for another handshake, and Mac, taking the opportunity to pay back the shoulder tackle, goes for the handshake, feeds him a shoulder tackle, then goes for a Rana, but Mac gives us this incredible cartwheel corkscrew superhero pose. Just wow. Takahashi locks on a chin lock on Mac, but he's able to crawl to the ropes. One move I forgot. Mac tosses Takahashi to the outside and then looks like he's going for that ninja special, but Takahashi does have it scouted and actually runs back in and drop kicks Mac to the face while he is beginning to flip. All right, so chinlock, we already discussed. He made it to the ropes, thank goodness. Mac sets up his ninja special, but Takahashi thinks to outsmart him, runs through the ring to the other side where the ramp is. Ninja Mac noticed, hits the rope, starts flipping back, flips out of the ring, flips up the ramp, and nails Takahashi right as they're going through the curtain, and I believe his Ninja Mac shirt was starting to get up over his face, so blessing in disguise there. The ref starts the count, and at this point, Takahashi does emerge from the back curtains there, only to eat a tope suicida from Mac on his way back. There's a flying headbutt from Mac, which I think damaged him more than Takahashi at that point. There's a crossface on Mac by Takahashi, which Mac does roll back into which he does roll Mac back into the center. Oh my goodness. Let's try this again. Crossface by Mac on Takahashi, which Mac rolls back into the center of the ring when Takahashi gets too close to the ropes. I have so many spelling errors in this sentence. It is embarrassing. I swear English is my first language. Tornado kick from Mac on Takahashi for 2. Mac going for that ninja bomb, but Takahashi shifts and catches the arm, locks Mac into a head scissors, but Mac is able to transition into a pin attempt to break that hold. The finish came very, very suddenly for me, with Takahashi locking the wrist and rolling Mac down into a clutch pin for the win. I think Mac was shocked and surprised. I was shocked and surprised. I didn't want the match to be over. I was having a lot of fun with this one. Post-match, Mac celebrating the champion before leaving. We gotta love that. We love, especially when we get a lot of team hate around here. So seeing some love, it made me happy to see. It's been a real treat to have Ninja Mac back in Pro Wrestling Noah, especially mixing with some of the people that I have come to know and love in Pro Wrestling Noah in my now year-long venture into this business. I just had my year anniversary of watching this company as I started watching about the time that Ozawa betrayed Kaito Kiyomiya. So much fun. The team started. glorious, glorious chaos has ensued. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about match number 7, which is a second round Grand Prix match that features two of my favorites, but my number one favorite in this company, Hayata, taking on numero uno Eita. Such a great match. And what a great match for the main event of this show. Oh my gosh. Okay, I have a lot of notes on this. We're already at 30 minutes almost. Let me adjust. Get the speed run going here. Are we ready? We are ready. Okay. So, again, great choice for the main event. The crowd is already on fire from the match before. They're getting more on fire for this one because Eita, big crowd favorite. Hayata, also huge crowd favorite. This was a great junior pace to start with Hayata escaping to the outside and the ref not watching Eita. But Hayata requests Eita to move back. The ref not watching. He doesn't. Eita runs in and hits Hayata anyway. So there's a cravat by Eita taking Hayata to the ground and then pinning him for 2. Eita defiant with Hayata, chopping him down to the ground and then dominating him very early on. Hayata tosses Eita into the post so hard he ends up on the outside of the ring. And Hayata follows him out and hits him with a DDT on the mats. Hayata locking on his own cravat, but Eita does crawl to the ropes. Hayata going for what I think was his second rope drop kick, but Eita pulls the feet out, sending Hayata to the ground. A jumping high kick in the corner, followed by what I think was a suplex attempt, but Hayata wiggles out, and after a series of reversals, which included the duck and roll through PK from Eita, which is like top tier move of his, Hayata kips up and lands a desperate jumping high kick, dropping Eita down. So there's a redirection thrust kick by Eita, which Hayata tries to reverse into a handspring, but Eita drop kicks him in the back. Eita looking to do what I think was a pump handle knee to the face, but Hayata transitions into a DDT. Eita going for the pump handle again, but Hayata catches the knee and hoists Eita up for a spin-out facebuster for 2. Hayata goes for something in the corner, but Eita wiggles down and plants Hayata with a powerbomb for 2. Eita jumping into the wheelbarrow position, but Hayata redirects him into a wheelbarrow facebuster slam, but Eita waistlock Hayata and rolls him over, stealing the pin attempt. So the finish comes, you guys. A lifting DDT by Hayata, followed by a kneeling Rana for the win over Eita. Very quick, very sudden. Loved seeing it though, because again, Hayata, my favorite in this company. Let's freaking go. Post match, Man of Few Words has few words for us. He growls to the crowd goes wild, the Melball goes wild, everybody goes wild. Pomp and circumstance. What an ending. What an ending to this show. So real quick, you guys, the tournament. I'm noting real quick, Hiromu Takahashi having some great matches in this tournament, moving effortlessly on and really putting over the talent that he is matching with. I don't like that the champion is in this tournament though, because it's kind of like Hiromu Takahashi was already kind of selecting people to challenge for the championship. You know, Junta kind of forced his way in there, but he picked Daiki Odashima. He picked Eita. I kind of feel like if he goes through and takes the tournament, it was quite literally already what he was doing. The tournament was not, it changed nothing. It will change nothing. Whereas if somebody else wins, I feel like we would be able to kind of showcase that a little bit better. That being said, though, I am really enjoying how the tournament is going. I feel that the matches have been very, very solid, very, very good, very entertaining. And, you know, there's still the semifinals and the finals, and there's still a second round that I need to talk about with you guys here. So, we're going to go from here into the next night, which is another Sunny Voyage show. English is really becoming a problem, you guys. November 16th. We got another show that has second round matches on here. Couple little fun mixed tag matches that had some really fun story stuff happening in them, and just some random goofy shit in it that was just funny. That was just enjoyable. So let's get into it, you guys. You start off the show right. Match number 1, 8-man tag team match. Team Melball, KENTA, Ulka Sasaki, Tetsuya Endo, and Hajime Ohara taking on the team of Jack Morris, Daga, Daiki Odashima, and Eita. You look at just looking at that. You know it's gonna be fracking phenomenal. What a way to open the show. I have a lot of notes on it. Let's talk about it. So Daga giving KENTA the pen to sign his little shirt. I said it before, I'll say it again. God bless face Daga. Because again, I feel like he would be doing this irregardless if he was heel or face. We've seen him try to be like that overly nice, like, oh yeah, you go, and then like grab the shirt and toss it when he was still heel Daga. So it's like this is it's the same but different. I love it. So Eita and KENTA working hard to get the crowd cheering and chanting at the beginning here, with Eita jumping KENTA at one point, who was not amused. Instantly not amused, and Eita immediately retreats to the corner and tags out to Daga. Daga and Sasaki, I can't praise these two enough. These two in the ring together. Daga unlocks something with Sasaki that brings out this character in him, and I've noticed that Ohara is also starting to do the same thing. However, in this match, he's teamed with Sasaki, so they can't work the magic in the same way. But Daga and Sasaki, these two together are just liquid gold, I'm telling you guys. Arm drag after arm drag after arm drag on the ground, rolling each other to the outside and then stopping in a tie-up and then getting back into the ring, much to the crowd's delight. Back in the ring, there's a series of reversals before they end up in another standoff, which results in the rare opportunity of a handshake from Ulka Sasaki. Dang, Daga, you've been getting some mad respect around here. Old friends, Endo and Odashima, showing off their speed power against each other. These two are so good together. Odashima nailing his head scissors and tossing tossing Endo over his head, then hitting that standing backflip into the double knees. Ohara ties Odashima up on the ropes and gets the team to pose with him. Very, very hate in stardom. I love it though. But then hits a drop kick to the back before tagging in Sasaki, who locks in what I thought was a bridging chicken wing on Odashima. And then while maintaining control of the arm, Sasaki breaks the hold and tags in KENTA, who chops the just ever living crap out of Odashima. Odashima hitting that signature twisting drop kick on KENTA. Team Morris coming in, running the train on Sasaki in the corner before Eita sends him to Daga and hit a drop kick into a side slam, followed by Morris hip tossing Odashima, but Daga only gets a 2. So Daga going for the Diablo wings, but Sasaki wiggles out and goes for the cutter, which Daga blocks only once before Sasaki is able to hit it a second time after some back and forth. There's a backcracker by Ohara on Morris, who answers with a big boot, but Ohara is able to reverse the follow-up into a Russian leg sweep and then locks on a single leg crab, but Eita does come in to back it up. Back it up, break it up. Break it up, back it in. Oh no, I lost my spot. There we are. Okay, everyone in popping off their stuff, leaving Ohara and Morris in the ring. Morris delivers a series of kicks, but Ohara fires up and pays in kind with strikes. However, Ohara does get planted with a very authoritative spine buster. I love me a good spine buster. Simple but effective. The finish comes with Morris hulking up and hitting dominant power. What the hell? Tiger Driver. Son. Gone. Words. Apparently also. Morris hitting a Tiger Driver for the win. This was great. This was a really fun match. Post-match, Kenta getting annoyed with Eita still. But Daga, being the voice of reason, calming Kenta down. It's okay. Go to the back. It's okay. Crazy, crazy chaos. I love it. Glorious, glorious chaos in this opening match. What a way to start off this show. I loved it. But my team also opened it up. So from here, we're going to go to match number 2, which was a tag team match featuring Team 2000X, Masaki Kitamiya, and Takashi Sugiura, with Yoshitatsu taking on Black Mensure and Jun Masaoka. I love Jun Masaoka. Seeing him and Gaia Hawks in the tag league earlier when they were fighting with people like Amaska and Junta Miyawaki, fighting with Mark True and Kirian Lacey, it just fighting with Hayata and Yohei, it was so entertaining, so good, really showed them off. Really, really happy to see Masaoka back in pro wrestling. Noah, I also frickin' love his music. What is it though? I don't know what his music is. If anybody knows what his music is, please put it down below. I need to listen to that at the gym. I need to have that screaming in my ears while I'm lifting heavy things, please. So, Mensure trying to defend a Junta Miyawaki fan from Kitamiya at the beginning here, as the Kitamiya loves to get angry at the crowd. And the match starts with Masaoka trying to defend Mensure from a guy who's pretty much thrice his size. Not even twice, thrice. Thrice his size in Kitamiya. The team continues to beat on Mensure and Masaoka, with the announcer at one point running for his life from his announce table, along with the bell and several other things. I got a little chuckle out of that. Back in the ring, Mensure tries to scoop slam Kitamiya. I'm just going to read that for you again. Back in the ring, Mensure tries to scoop slam Kitamiya. It goes about as well as you would expect. Sugiura just toying with Mensure, then locking him in a Boston Crab, but Mensure is able to make it to the ropes. There's a waist lock backbreaker from Kitamiya on Mensure. We get a Zaw strike to Kitamiya, and Mensure tags in Masaoka, who then uses Kitamiya as a tabletop to strike Sugiura off of the apron, and then breaks down Kitamiya with a bunch of running kicks and a drop kick to the knee. So Kitamiya catching Masaoka and then transitioning him into a Samoan drop. Ow. Avalanche delayed brainbuster by Sugiura on Masaoka, but the pin is broken up by Mensure. Mensure trying the double stomp on Sugiura, but it's not registering. There is a 0 Richter scale on that one. The rope walk by Mensure on Sugiura, but Kitamiya comes in and shakes the ropes, causing Mensure to hit his Mensures. Masaoka comes in to help, but gets a double shoulder tackle from Team 2000X for his trouble. The finish comes with Sugiura twisting the mask of Mensure around on his face, beating him to the floor, and then locking on an ankle lock, forcing him to tap out and submit. Masaoka helping Mensure to the back. Very interesting things have been happening with Masaoka in this run with Pro Wrestling Noah. In the first run, we saw him with Gaia Hawks and F Swag, and they were mean, they were heels, they were hitting people with like wet floor signs and sticks and chairs and anything they could get their hands on. They were the dastardly team before the dastardly team started being really dastardly. Like, I thought that these guys would be perfect for each other. But since the first round match between Masaoka and AMAKUSA, there's been a difference in character for Masaoka. I don't want to say he seems subdued, but he seems comfortable. I don't think he likes comfortable. It's very interesting to see him being a face. I'm not sure that I like it. Anyway, we're going to go on to match number 3, which is an 8-man tag team match that features the team of Naomichi Marufuji, Keno, Hayata, and Yuto Kikuchi taking on Manabu Soya, Saxon Huxley, Ninja Mac, and Junta Miyawaki. Couple things to note before the match starts. White gear for Ninja Mac. Loved it. I know he has it. I've just not seen him wrestle in it. I've seen pictures of it, I think. I'm not entirely sure now. My brain isn't braining right now, but I noted it because I liked it. With the red accent, looked really, really cool. Soya, Manabu Soya, also slowly morphing into Yohei. Hey, Yohei. He did his entrance almost more perfect than Yohei ever does his entrance. Very odd. Very odd. This match, though, you guys, this match was interesting because on top of the serious tones that we were getting in this match, there was one very, very important story that was happening in this, and it was the jump scare. The jump scares. This hilarity didn't take away from the seriousness of this match, which speaks insane volumes to the participants of this match. So let's talk about it. Okay, starting off this match, as Kikuchi and Mac are getting ready to lock up, Mac and Hayata are getting into this match. Mac jump scares Kikuchi on the apron, like just walks by him and huh! And Kikuchi gets like so flustered and like, what in the world? Tries to get in, tries to get mad. It was really funny to me. This became the story for that specific team, barely involving Mac at this point. There's one more point where the other team is involved in it. The other team takes it and runs with it. We have to talk about it because it's funny. Okay, Mac jump scares Kikuchi. Kikuchi gets mad about it. He tries to get into the ring. The ref says, no, you're fine. They continue the match. Mac offering the handshake to Hayata, and Hayata uses the opportunity to trap Mac because it's Hayata. Mac uses his unique skills and moves, though, to escape the grip of Hayata, redirecting himself into a front dive into a backflip Rana. So Mac going in for that ninja special, but Kikuchi kicks him before he can flip out from the apron. Kikuchi then jump scaring Mac in the corner, but it looked like he scared Marufuji more than he scared Mac. Like Marufuji clutching his pearls and everything. Like, what was that? I had a really good laugh at that, and this is where this started snowballing for these guys. So, okay, going from here, Kikuchi and Miyawaki having a phenomenal high-speed junior part that ends with Miyawaki hitting his signature second rope plancha and then a missile dropkick back in the ring. So Keno with a high kick in the corner followed by a half crab on Miyawaki. Keno then jump scares Marufuji instead of pinning Miyawaki. And this made me laugh again because the camera was more focused on Marufuji clutching his pearls again than it was on the pin that Keno was doing. And it was a fun little moment for me, and I'm so happy that Ninja Max started it. So Miyawaki able to reverse a whip into a judo toss. There's a lariat and bulldog by Soya on Marufuji. The chop off between Soya and Marufuji, so loud. So loud, with Soya hitting an exclamation point suplex at the end of it. Soya and Huxley double team Gutbuster on Keno, followed by a Jonitsu. Love that. Huxley with the whip and knee to the gut of Keno before hanging him out to dry on the top rope. There's a hook kick into a German suplex, followed by a Jonitsu by Marufuji and Keno. Because they be clown in the passion retells. Keno going for the double stomp, but Huxley moves and follows up with a jumping crossbody on the ropes. So Mac in nailing that ninja special finally on Kikuchi, followed by an incredible series of pin reversals, ending with Kikuchi hitting him with a signature handspring kick. So the finish comes, you guys, with Miyawaki saving Ninja Mac from Kikuchi and then hitting him with a falcon arrow, prompting Ninja Mac to get to the top turnbuckle and hit that beautiful Phoenix splash. No sky sparkle. For the win. This is so good. How it should be bad. It should be illegal to be this good. But Pro Wrestling Noah just always putting on these incredible bangers of matches. One thing to note with this match that I want to note before we get too long into this show, I like this version of Keno and Marufuji better than the version of them that's cohesive and works together. I like there being something abnormal about the relationship with Marufuji and Keno, whether it's they're arguing and they're dysfunctional, whether it's this goofiness. I need something weird happening with them. I can't have normal. Normal is not a thing for them, nor for me. Anyway, from here, we're going to go. Match number 4, which is a Grand Prix second round match, features Shuji Kondo taking on Kai Fujimura. I'm going to try to get through these matches quickly because I have a lot of notes for these last 3 matches. Okay, nice traditional wrestling start. Very much chain wrestling, figuring each other out, with Fujimura slowly, kicking up his lucha-ness and tendencies, because we know he has them, doing some fun arm drags before setting up for a tope, but stopping when Kondo moves out of the way. So Fujimura not giving a clean break to Kondo, chopping him on the ropes, and Kondo lets him have all the hands for that, throwing fists after and then tying Fujimura in the tree of woe before lariating the knee, which smart move when you're dealing with a lucha guy, taking away the feet, taking away that speed and power. This is where Kondo really starts to focus on that left knee of Fujimura. He locks on a knee lock. He forces the other leg of Fujimura further away from him by pushing on it with his foot. He starts, where are we? Dropping elbow drops on him, standing on the ankle, dropping him on the knee locks, all kinds of craziness just to keep the knee injured of Fujimura. There's a nasty hair toss by Kondo on Fujimura, but Fujimura does come back with a solid Rana and drop kick. Fujimura with a lariat in the corner, followed by a running senton for 2. Kondo locking on a Boston crab and transitioning into a half crab on that injured left knee, but Fujimura is able to crawl to the ropes. Kondo really beating down on the knee of Fujimura, but Fujimura does come back with a backslide into a thrust kick for 2, followed by a reverse DDT for 2. So there's an air raid crash by Fujimura for 2, though that knee is a very wiggly. She's not very happy. Fujimura looking to go for what I thought was his finish, that Golaza. Golaza. But the knee giving out, and Kondo capitalizes on this immediately with a wicked spear. But I call that version of spear a Spearanagi, because it literally looks like a waist lock Uranagi at that point. He's going up, he's going down. It's not just a through and through spear. It is a initial hit and then you go up and down. So they say it's a spear. Spearanagi for the visuals. Fujimura blocks the one lariat with both forearms, the second lariat with a forearm strike of his own, and then transitions the third attempt into a pin for 2. Fujimura grabbing the arm and rolling Kondo into his cradle pin, but Kondo kicks out somehow for 2. I don't see people kick out of that. That has been a big moneymaker, big game changer for Fujimura. From here, though, the finish comes with Shuji Kondo hitting Fujimura with 2 massive lariats. But when he tries to go and pin him, Fujimura rolls him back, locks him down, and Fujimura pins Shuji Kondo and moves on to the semifinals. Tonight, tomorrow, the 21st, taking on Silent of Darkness Hayata. Let's freaking go. I am so happy for this. When this match was happening, I was like, oh no. Noah is not predictable in that the guy who's usually getting his kicked at the beginning of the match is going to win. We saw that with Keno versus Kenta for the GHC Heavyweight Championship. Kenta dominated Kento that entire match. There was at that point I thought Keno was going to come back and win. No. Kenta definitely beat the ever living crap out of him in that one. This I kind of had a similar expectation. I was like, oh no, Fujimura, that knee. No, very pleasant surprise in this one. This was a phenomenal match. And this was a great match with the combination style of that technical wrestling with that lucha libre spiciness in there. Absolutely love it. So happy for Fujimura. So from here, we're going to go to match number 5, which is another second round Grand Prix match that features Tadasuke with Yoshitatsu taking on AMAKUSA with Jun Masaoka. Aww. So, it amused me a little bit that it looked like Tadasuke nearly clocked Yoshitatsu with his chair when he first came out of the curtain, because I don't think he knew how close he was to the... I'm sure English commentary, Mike Pickering, Fulton, you guys will get a chuckle out of that too. Anyway, okay, now it's a bit odd for me, but not entirely odd. As I mentioned with Masaoka, the changes that he's been kind of going through, it wasn't totally odd for me to see him coming out with AMAKUSA. That being said, though, I was someone who always thought that F-Swag, Masaoka, Hawks, they both, I felt, fit the Team 2000X bill a little bit better. But that being said, given the results of earlier, go out there with your buddy. Help him out. Yes. So, nice junior start with AMAKUSA drop kicking Tadasuke down and then showing off his unique skill avoiding Tadasuke in the corner and hitting a springboard Rana. Itatsu. He'd be tatsuing, pulling the foot on AMAKUSA and dragging him out. And this is where shit starts to get weird for me in this match. Okay. Tadasuke beating on AMAKUSA in AMAKUSA's corner. So AMAKUSA was in the blue corner, which was the corner closest to the camera, and Tadasuke was fighting out of the red corner, which was on the other side. And somehow Tadasuke and Tatsu were on the other side, and Masaoka was on the other side, and for some reason, Masaoka was distracting the ref. He was yelling at him about what was happening to AMAKUSA, but it was very odd, obvious distraction. Just the placement was weird. So, anyway, Tadasuke at this point starting to piss with the crowd, making fun of them, booing him, and then I've also started to notice Masaoka is usually more active at ringside when he is helping out his partner. I found it a little odd that he was not doing the most that he usually does in this. So the crowd super concerned and chanting very aggressively for Amaska, and Tadasuke picks apart again that left knee seems to be the flavor of the month this month, stomping on it, dropping it, and then mocking the crowd in between attacking the knee. Amaska, Amaska. It's and then sticking his hands in his pockets too, which became a problem later on. Um, and Tadasuke tosses Amaska to the outside where Tatsu, guess what he be doing? You guessed it. He be Tatsuing you guys, beating up on Amaska on the outside until Masaoka does step in and kind of shoves him away. He doesn't physically do anything. It's just the presence scares away Tatsu enough. Um, Masaoka then turns to encourage Amaska, and Tadasuke actually hops out of the ring and tosses Masaoka into Amaska at ringside there. So the amount of time it took people to move when Tadasuke was sitting there doing this was a little alarming. You guys just wanted to wear a mask on your face? Because he got tossed 3 rows back. um, and then again, just mocking the crowd. Tadasuke has really figured out a really good way to bank on pissing off the people in the crowd. So Amaska starting to make a bit of a comeback with chops, but is quickly grounded again when Tadasuke kicks the knee and locks a knee lock on. There's an apron dropkick by Amaska on Tadasuke and a baseball slide to Tatsu, and then a tope suicida back on Tadasuke. There's a diving elbow by Amaska back in the ring, but Tadasuke drops the knee, so he picks him up, drops his knee on his own knee, and then I lost my place. Where'd it go? Oh, yeah, drops him on his own knee, hits a dragon screw leg whip before locking on the knee lock again, but Amaska is able to crawl to the ropes. Amaska hitting a DDT, knocking the pockets out of Tadasuke's pants. I had a little chuckle at that. Tatsu. Guess what he be doing? He be Tatsuing, grabbing the leg of Amaska on the top rope while Tadasuke distracts the ref. Masaoka relieves us of Tatsu, but then Tadasuke strikes and gets Amaska up on his shoulders, but Amaska reverses into a Rana before kicking Tatsu off the apron for the second time. Amaska going for the top turnbuckle, hitting his corkscrew senton. We get a 1, we get a 2, and then suddenly the ref disappears. Just wow. Just exit stage down because Jun Masaoka decided to grab the ankle and pull the ref out. And I was like, I thought so. I knew it. Knew it. This man was meant for Team 2000X, and no amount of godliness from Amaska is going to stop that. That demon is coming, my friend. Okay, so Masaoka now in the ring removes his Masaoka jersey, puts on a Team 2000X t-shirt, and proceeds to wallop Amaska in the head with his wet floor sign. Tadasuke hits a pile driver, but somehow Amaska is able to kick out of this chaos. Amaska launching into a pin attempt, where oh, okay, sorry. Amaska launches into a pin attempt, but then gets a kick out from Tadasuke at 1. Tadasuke pushes him into the ropes, where a waiting Masaoka nails him again with that wet floor sign, and another pin, but only for 2. How Amaska is surviving, because that's what he's doing right now, is beyond me. Unfortunately, it does not last long because the finish mercifully comes as Tadasuke hits what I think looked like a fisherman hook pile driver for the win, moving him to the semifinals against Hiromu Takahashi. The crowd is livid. They are not happy. They are so mad. So mad. But like seriously though, someone give Masaoka an Oscar, because like I was ready and willing to accept him as a face. It wasn't something I liked, but if it means we see him more, I'll accept it. This is better. My only complaint about this is why it takes so long. And actually, my second complaint is, and where's Hawks? Tell me he's coming along too. Because F Swag in Team 2000X, I'm going to start making like weird noises because it's just, that is so good. That is such a good idea. Team comes out to celebrate their new team member in Jun Masaoka. There was also some backstage comments. I don't know what they're saying. I'm still learning to read and write the Japanese. I don't know what they're saying, but I really enjoy watching them. You can still tell who can cut a promo and who can't based on these things. So go check it out. They usually have them after the show. I really hope that maybe they can start to get some English commentary in those, maybe like how they did with New Japan with Kevin Kelly or Chris Charlton staying after and to translate for us would be really helpful. Or maybe I should just learn Japanese and offer my service for that. Anyway, we're going to go into the main event, you guys. Match number 6 before we get too long here. 6-man tag team match. Yoshiki Inamura, Hank and Tank, Hank Walker, Tank Ledger, taking on the team of All Rebellion, Kaito Kiyomiya, Harutoki, and Alejandro. We got a team of heavies, and I would arguably say super heavies, because those boys clearly football trained. They defense men. And poor Alejandro is on the light side of the junior division. In fact, I would actually say he's probably their lightest junior, except maybe to Amaska. I'd have to double check what the stats are on that, but like, he was the one who felt a little out of place in this match, the poor guy. I need to adjust because this was a main event we need to talk about. Lots of energy coming into this match, and a lot of that energy coming from Hank and Tank. Holy crap. These guys, again, they hit their stride, man. These guys, it usually takes 2 or 3 matches to kind of get yourself situated in the company, in whatever Japanese company you go into. They did it. They had their 2 matches. Here they are. And holy crap, was this entertaining. If there's no commentary on show, I said it earlier, put Heath Ledger. Oh, goodness. Tank Ledger. Put Tank Ledger at ringside because goodness gracious golly. The energy that this guy has is just amazing, but the commentary is just... It was giving me giggles throughout the whole match. So Inamura catching Kiyomiya on a crossbody attempt, but Kiyomiya is able to wiggle out. Ledger and Harutoki cartwheeling and locking up. There was a waist lock truffle shuffle that distracts Harutoki long enough for Ledger to reverse and drop Harutoki in a front body slam. Harutoki, not willing to be outdone though, follows up with his own front body slam and then his very own little truffle shuffle dance, which is not as choreographingly good as Hank and Tank. Maybe you guys can teach him. I'm just going to flat out say, based on what I saw from these two guys, immediately I love the chemistry with the two of them. Tank's over-the-top energy in this brought out a new level in Harutoki in the same way that Daga brings out that charisma and character in Ulka Sasaki. It was really, really awesome to see Harutoki kind of stepping into something new, and I hope he keeps running with this because he was so entertaining in this. So Walker and Alejandro. And this is where I was like, why is Alejandro in this match? This poor man. Walker mocking the height of Alejandro, asking for the test of strength, which obviously he can't reach. I'm telling you, man, you don't mess with us shotties. We bite. Anyway, Alejandro launching himself into Walker multiple times with multiple shoulder tackles, but the stronger Walker unmoved until Alejandro starts drop kicking him. Alejandro trying for an around the world DDT, but Walker stopping him and redirecting him into a suplex. And this is something where I started to notice something different between Hank and Tank in this situation, and that's going into this match, I was kind of like, oh, okay, this is going to be a little interesting to see how they do it because it's a face team taking on a face team. Because All Rebellion is literally the faciest face team in this company. They're even facier than Team Noah. And Hank and Tank are very much faces, and I would say very over with the crowd right now. It was interesting because when I saw Walker first interacting with Alejandro and doing the test of strength, I got heel vibes. And I appreciate that someone can do both because, like, obvious, that takes a lot of skill to be able to do. It was just odd to see the entrance because the entrance from them was very still facey. Odd to see the transition into the heel tendency in this, and it was definitely more Walker and Inamura in this one than Ledger. So from here, we got a truffle shuffle drop on Alejandro for 2. We also got closed fist to the gut in the corner, and this is what I'm saying. That's very heely stuff. Don't do that. There's a tackle in the corner by Ledger for 2 on Alejandro. The beating on Alejandro felt really heelish. It really did feel. I mean, there's a way to do the divide and conquer in a way that isn't so necessarily brazenly dastardly obvious, and it was they'd taken lessons from Team 2000X on this one with that alienation, but again, very smart, very smart to break down the smaller member to try to assure a win in there. So again, it felt very heelish and but did the intended thing of gaining the sympathy for Alejandro as he was the one person that was being chanted for in the entire match. And then Harutoki does get in to save him with a jumping knee and a lariat. So Harutoki coming in like a bullet, hitting Walker with a drop kick and a signature flip out lariat, but Walker is able to stop the crossbody, tossing Harutoki into a jumping knee, and then mocking Harutoki's little skibbity bop. Rude. There's a big boss man slam. Yes, by Walker on Harutoki. There is the sword hammer. For those of you who don't know, in the corner, I call the sword the back chop. I call the hammer a strike. Sword hammer, sword hammer, sword hammer. You get the combination. There was a sword hammer, sword hammer, sword, sword, sword by Inamura on Kiyomiya, followed by a run into the corner to squish him and a massive delayed brainbuster for 2. Alejandro hitting a crossbody on Inamura, but he rolls through, holding on to him. However, Alejandro does wiggle free, and Harutoki hits a kick. Alejandro hits a drop kick to the knee, and Harutoki hits an enziguri with Alejandro nailing a missile drop kick. So there's a belly-to-belly suplex by Inamura on Alejandro, and there were stereo squish body slams on Harutoki and Alejandro by Hank and Tank. So the finish comes, you guys. We see the Muso on Alejandro, followed by that bouncy, fun frog splash from Inamura for the win. Very interesting match. Very fun match. I had a lot of fun with this match. I don't feel that this was a main event match. I feel that this match, because the only story in it besides beating the ever living piss out of Alejandro was the upcoming title match between Kaito Kiyomiya challenging Yoshiki Inamura. Hank and Tank also just kind of showing off in this one. Because I highly doubt that Harutoki and Alejandro would be wanting to go for those titles. Harutoki maybe, but Alejandro I don't think fits the size demographic. I'm completely sold on Hank and Tank. I was a little hesitant before because I was like, who are these guys? They come in, they just suddenly get tag team championship. I saw that before with Omos, but at least Jack Morris was there. This at first had me like, but I feel like they mesh so well together. And before this tour is done, I have to ask and beg and plead, please give me Hank Walker and Harutoki in just a singles grudge match. Please. That match would be awesome. It would, I think, have the same amazing, pleasant surprise that Harutoki versus Jack Morris had. I feel like that's the kind of energy these two have, and that means top tier, top quality matches. I feel that the energy also, especially from Ledger, with the crowd and the crowd interaction, works insanely well for them. It's very entertaining for them. You can hear the crowd giggling at him all the time. The crowd reacts a lot more for him too, which is not something that they always do. They're the Japanese crowd does tend to be a little bit more quiet and clap for things that they, appreciate, whether it's a heel or a face. And Ledger has been able to get them to kind of step out of that zone and make a little bit more noise a little bit more frequently when he's around. But then also these last two shows, they didn't have any kind of commentary, Japanese or English. So it also gave me a little something, something extra. Because for these shows, and I say this also for anyone doing like recording indie shows and putting them online, it really does add to the overall feel of the show to have commentary on there. Even if it's not live commentary, if you have commentary like New Japan does, where the show happens and then 2 or 3 days later, Walker gets to it when he gets to it because he'll be a man, he got busy stuff to do, he's got stardom now too. If they do that, that would even be super helpful for someone like me, having that option, because at least then I can also learn the moves a little bit more. Because like, is Kai Fujimura's finisher actually called Golazo, or is that just what he wants to call it, or what? And also, I heard, just based on the taking over from Tuesday, which you can go back on OLE and check out, where they were talking, Astrid and Ed were talking about Titus Alexander. The commentary had a different moveset name for his movesets that may actually help me in the long run. So, commentary is helpful. Ledger has been doing great with it. I appreciate it. I'm a little not sold on Inamura yet. I find him to be really good in these kind of tag situations, but I find when he gets into these one-on-one kind of situations, it's almost like he panics. It's almost like something he's spending more time up here and less in here. And when I say here, I mean in his hands. In the ignore the nail. In the hands. I don't know. There's a certain thing that he's very much working towards, and it's getting there for me. But there's something just slightly missing there. I'm interested to see the results of his match with Kaito Kiyomiya. I suspect that Inamura is going to come out the champion on that one. That is going to be an interesting match. And again, depending on how the match itself goes, that's also what I'm more concerned about. The pulling is something that's concerning to me. When you're running into the corner and you slow down like 2 feet before you're hitting the guy kind of thing. It's almost like he's going for it and then goes, "Oh, I gotta be careful." And it's like, no, you don't. Well, you do. But like, you know what I mean. There's a certain degree of pull that should be able to be hidden. And not in this match as much, but his match before, I saw it a little bit more. So I'm hoping that that's something that maybe there's some kind of fear or something that's going on there. I don't know. We'll have to talk about it a little bit more on the next episode. But tonight, the 21st, we are going to be seeing the finals and semifinals of the Grand Prix. So we're seeing the semifinals, which is going to be Hayata taking on Kai Fujimura, and then Hiromu Takahashi taking on Tadasuke. The winners of those matches will be meeting later in the night. They'll be wrestling 2 matches. So two someones will be wrestling 2 matches that night. I believe, again, if I'm right, I will have the graphic here. If not, but I'm pretty sure Hank and Tank are also defending the GHC Tag Team Championships that night against Team 2000X's Masaki Miya and Takashi Sugiura. I'm curious to see how that also goes. But before we get too long here, thank you so much for watching, guys. This is the end of the episode. Did you guys take in any of the Noah Grand Prix tournament at all? Who was your pick? Mine was eliminated the first night. My next pick also got eliminated. So go Hayata, which is who I should have picked from the start, but I had my heart full and my heart proud, and I picked Daiki Odashima, who was eliminated by Hiromu Takahashi in his first match, and then I picked Ninja Mac, who unfortunately also got eliminated by Hiromu Takahashi. Go Hayata! Who do you guys have picked for the Grand Prix? Who do you think's going to win? Do you think Takahashi's going to take it and choose who he challenges and make the whole tournament kind of like, well, what was this for? Or are we going to see Hayata? Because I suspect Hayata. I want Hayata. Are we going to see Hayata or Kai Fujimura or Tadasuke take the tournament and win the opportunity to face Hiromu Takahashi? Let me know in the comments down below. With that being said, you guys, make sure you like the video, subscribe to OLE, and turn on notifications to be alerted every time we drop a new video. If you want a daily dose of your Melball, you can catch me on the X thing at Collins Melball. You can catch me on everything else: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Mastodon, and Blue Sky at Melball Collins. If you're wanting to take in some amazing professional wrestling like Pro Wrestling Noah, you can subscribe to Wrestle Universe. It is 1,928 yen and 1,298 yen. Wow, my ADHD really messed me up on that one. 1,298 yen. 13-ish Canadian, 9-ish American, an amazing price to watch some amazing wrestling, because you don't just get Pro Wrestling Noah and all the little additives and extra content that they put on there. You get access to DDT. You get access to Marigold. You get access to Tokyo Joshi Pro. You get access to Marvelous. You get access to so many more. There are 10 companies on there in total now. 13 Canadian, 9 American. That's a pretty awesome deal for that many companies. Wrestle Universe. Make sure you check it out. Anywho, you guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you in a day or so for the finals review. But that all being said, I am your Melball. Matane. Mwah.